Welcome. Welcome in. I am Goddess High Priestess Empress Alba La Pantera. Welcome to the vibes. Welcome to the approach to Saturn and Neptune conjunction, the sign of Aries. I'm here to assist you to work at a structural, metaphysical, esoteric level. Okay. This is about building correctly from the ground up here, collective, taking responsibility for what is real and establishing order where there has been instability, while also translating what feels abstract, unseen, or difficult to name into something functional. Here on this channel, vision becomes architecture, intuition becomes strategy, the unseen gets anchored into lived reality. So what I offer is not motivation, that's up to you. That is internal. This is not surface-based advice, neither. This is diagnostic work using astrology, numerology, and divination systems to examine timing, patterns, and decision points. Identify what structure is required, where distortion is entered, and what must shift so movement becomes deliberate instead of repetitive. During the live sessions, I do offer clarity checks, alignment sessions, or past life sessions. For more information, view the pinned comment if you are looking to obtain your own. For those who already know that a live session will not reach deep enough, I do offer one-on-one Zoom sessions. These are private, structured conversations designed to cut through noise and establish direction with precision. Currently, we are going through a change here with the one-on-one Zoom sessions. The price that it's available at currently will only be available up until the 21st of this month, until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As of 2/2/2026, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the price is going up. For those of you who have inquired from now up until the 21st and have not submitted payment, you will have to follow the instructions in regards to the change of that pricing. So an inquiry does not hold the price that it's set at right now, just do an inquiry. Okay. If the payment's not received by the 21st, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, do not send me a payment of where it's at right now, because I'm sending you your payment back and I'll remove you from any of the platforms that I see you on here. Respectfully so, because here we're going to follow instructions. We're going to become more aware. Okay. That's a major part of this shift, is awareness and being mindful as to what it is that you're doing, making sure that you're reading instructions carefully. Okay. So For those of you who are seeking a much deeper comprehensive work where we also tap into the Akashic Records, I do offer the Journey of Life analysis. All that information will be provided upon inquiry. Okay, just send an email to banterafit@gmail.com for more information. Now, all in all, if you're tuned into this channel or any of my platforms or any of the platforms that I am on, just know that this is for people who value clarity over confusion, structure over chaos, confirmation grounded in truth, and alignment that supports decisive movement. And with that being said, also know that this is a space for individuals ready to take responsibilities for their actions and create results that are sustainable, not temporary. Also, upon entering, make sure that you're hitting that screen twice, double tap the screen, hitting up that thumbs up energy button, as that will signal the type of karma or dharma that you enter into. You're entering a space of abundance and valuable information that would allow you to shift, that would allow you to become the best version of yourself. If you're not going to be here engaging, then don't be here at all. Respectfully so. Nonetheless, gratitude to all of you who are showing up. Coffee is banging. So now, let's get into the vibes. Currently in the Venus hour. What up, Venus? The 19th of February. The moment before form meets vision. Now, we're under a quite rare astrological moment where you are not just in between events collective, you are between definitions of reality itself. You just passed the Aquarius solar eclipse, a collective reset. Before I even continue, I do have to adjust our chat here, making sure that those that are in the chat with us are subscribers. Let's edit this here. Welcome in, Bandera Soul Fam, Ocean Goddess. Welcome in. There we go. Back to the task at hand. So once again, we just passed the Aquarius solar eclipse, which was the collective reset. And now we're standing at the threshold of Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries exact soon. We are inside the opening field of a new 36-year cycle regarding Saturn Neptune conjunctions in general. Now, all of this is happening while the sky is holding a split signature of Pisces dissolution. We're in the zodiac season of Pisces currently, with an Aries emergence. So this combination is why the moment feels both quiet and decisive at the same time. When it comes to this post-eclipse atmosphere, the reset has happened, but hasn't externalized just yet. So after a solar eclipse, especially one at the end of Aquarius, the shift is not immediately visible because Aquarius works on systems first, not surface events. So what changed? The framework has changed. With that change, you could be feeling detached from former motivations, aware something is different without being able to explain it, less responsive to pressure, unwilling to operate under old expectations. And that is because eclipses interrupt continuity. They don't add something, they remove the previous trajectory. This is basically the blank line before the next paragraph type of vibes. Adding Pisces to the field, the clearing field, with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and the North Node all being in Pisces, understand that Pisces doesn't initiate. Pisces dissolve what cannot continue into the next cycle, starting with Aries. Make sure y'all coming in here, double tapping the screen, hitting the thumbs up. Gratitude. This is the last wash before Aries fire takes hold, basically. And with the moon that has just entered Aries at 1 degree, this is the emotional body that is crossing first. The moon moves faster than anything else. So it's acting as the emotional preview of what Saturn and Neptune are about to formalize. This is basically the feeling of, I know I have to move differently now, but not yet knowing the structure per se. However, the instinct has crossed the threshold for reality to catch up. As far as Saturn conjunct Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, and why this is not a normal cycle change, this conjunction happens roughly every 36 years. But not every conjunction begins at the first degree of the zodiacal fire sign. That's what makes this particular conjunction different. Because Saturn has to do with structure, law, consequence, and material reality, while Neptune is all about vision, belief, dissolution of illusion, collective imagination. And in the sign of Aries, it's speaking to birth, identity, agency, and initiation. So instead of dreaming something new, Neptune, or building something new, Saturn, this conjunction is asking, what happens when vision and reality must begin at the same moment? What happens when vision and reality must begin at the same moment? No transition phase, no rehearsal. What happens when vision and reality must begin at the same moment? This is the collapse of the separation between what you believe and how you must live and how you must now live. Why this may feel personal, even though it's more so collective, this alignment sits at the very beginning of the zodiac. This is not just symbolic, it resets the axis of selfhood. Many long cycles modify behavior. This one in particular modifies authorship. You're not just adjusting plans, collective. You're redefining who initiates action in your life and why. You are redefining who initiates action in your life and why. You're redefining who initiates action in your life and why. The ground is still being rewritten while you stand on it. That's the whole purpose of Uranus and Taurus right now. As Saturn and Neptune begin a new identity cycle, Uranus continues destabilizing material assumptions. This is why certainty feels unavailable. The foundation is basically updated simultaneously with direction. So it's important not to perceive it as confusion, but more so a concurrent renovation. Okay. You were in there for a certain number of visits. Reauthorization happens for concurrent renovation. With Mars and Pluto in Aquarius, this is where the future is already demanding participation. Mars provides the drive, while Pluto provides the irreversible transformation. Both of these in Aquarius. It's basically saying the collective future is no longer theoretical. Basically, a lot of the people who were called conspiracy theorists are now being seen as, oh shit, you was right this entire time. Or on point with their information. They don't sound so crazy no more, do they? This is pressure without clarity yet, however, with Mars and Pluto in Aquarius, where the future is already demanding participation. With Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, this is growth through rerouting, not expansion. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is growth through rerouting, not expansion. Basically, while everything else points forward, Jupiter has been continuously asking, and it's doing so until March 11th, what actually supports you emotionally? Expansion now is internal consolidation. Before a new identity can function, it must feel safe enough to exist. Welcome in, Pantera Soul Fam. Michelle, welcome in. Now, what makes this particular moment different from other new eras? Most new eras begin with enthusiasm. This one in particular is beginning with sobriety because Saturn is involved at the start, not later, predominantly so. Basically, there is no phase where illusion gets to run freely. Because from the very beginning, one is starting with purpose, structure, maturity. Vision must withstand reality immediately. That's why this moment may feel less inspiration and more so responsibility quietly arriving. Okay. So the essence of the current moment that we're in is 444 on the time. The eclipse cleared the path. Pisces is washing away residue. The moon has now stepped into Aries to test the grounds. Therefore, Saturn and Neptune are about to define the new cycle. This is basically the language of you receiving an invitation to go somewhere and you let a person know, let me fill this out, and then let you know. That's the moon going into Aries before Saturn and Neptune reach that point of that conjunction. Okay. This is the moment where imagination stops being separate from reality and begins the long process of becoming it. Now, the current field is one of pressure to move along with the demand to mature at the same time, especially with the aspects right now describing a very specific psychological climate, not chaos, not confusion. It's more so a compression chamber where instinct, reality, and vision are being forced into alignment before forward acceleration is allowed. A compression chamber where instinct, reality, and vision are being forced into alignment before forward acceleration is allowed. The horse in the stable or waiting for the gate to open. The horse is in the gate, ready to go. The jockey's ready. Everybody's ready to go, just waiting for the signal. And while waiting for the gate to open, this is also part of the cycle where the future is no longer theoretical. Yet the body must be aware as to how to carry it. Let's get a look and see at the energy of the collective here now. What is the energy for the collective regarding the reality they must accept? What is the energy for the collective regarding the reality they must accept? What is the energy for the collective regarding the reality they must accept? Collective source, collective. Hold space, connect with your emotions, follow the voice of your soul, choose your path. The reality they must accept while holding space, connecting with their emotions, on the verge of following the voice of their soul to choose a new path. The reality that you must accept is the ability to harness mystic power. We have the high priestess here showing up. So this would be the embodiment of your higher self and taking action doing so, along with the moon being in Aries at this time. Okay. Work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. Big Pluto, Mars energy. Pluto, Mars. And we do have that going on here between Mars and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius at that. Okay. Now with Saturn in a sextile to Pluto, this is where you'll be able to endure the transformation, where the changes don't seem so dramatic. There's more of an acceptance to it, especially with the merge here of the high priestess energy. Okay. The reality you're being guided to accept is the alignment with light and focus on all things positive, where you are the mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. And that's even becoming much more stronger with the energies in Pisces that we have right now, where one has the ability to communicate with the unseen realms, or certain entities, energies of unseen realms. This could also have to do, I just heard voice of nature, being able to connect with nature on a much more deeper, intuitive, emotional, symbolic level. The reality you all are being guided to accept is that within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There's an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, collective, but it requires dedication and discipline. You are being guided to look at what you are working on or at the situation before you and determine where your priorities are. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. With this card showing up, it's also important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you guidance that will be important for your growth. Beautiful. Aligning perfectly with the cosmic energies at this time too. What is the illusion that is dissolving here for the collective in order to accept this reality? What is the illusion that is dissolving here for the collective source? What is the illusion that is dissolving? What is the illusion that is dissolving in order to harness the mystic power of the reality that they must accept? What is dissolving? The illusion. We have void of course, moon. The void of course moon is basically the moment before the moon switches into a new sign, that moment in between. as it's going from 29 degrees in one sign into 0 degrees of the next. Now, nothing will come of this situation. Obviously, we have to look a little bit deeper into this, correct? Let me pull one more card with it. Show me more about this illusion that's dissolving regarding nothing coming of this situation before we dive deeper. Give us another theme here for the collective regarding the illusion that is dissolving. Your focus, where your focus is. The plans that you've made and where your focus was at one point. The illusion that's dissolving is the reason why you even felt as though that was the plan and your point of focus to begin with. Alrighty then. Let me put you all here. Let me move the High Priestess here because we are aware the reality that you must accept has to do with harnessing your mystic power. The same version of you that they told you wasn't a reality and this just happens in movies. Nah. No, it don't. No, it don't. Let me get a good shuffle here. Una. Dos. Tres. Clarify the illusion that's dissolving regarding nothing will come of this situation with make plans and focus. Two of Swords, mental conflict. Moon and Libra. Whatever your current emotions connected to memories regarding significant one-on-one partnership at this time, at this very moment that you're listening to this message, nothing will come of this situation. Here and now, literally here and now. Whoever this is that you have at the forefront of your mind is causing mental conflict. It's a cycle that has to end within the body, a cycle that has to end from the workings of the heart. This situation, nothing will come of it. Make plans and focus on yourself here, collective. Show me more regarding nothing will come of this situation. 26, God number. Third eye, I see. You see this already, exactly. Now, okay. Let's go a little bit deeper into this here, mind's eye. Let's see something. Now, when we're looking at the mind's eye, this has to do with seeing both physically and intuitively. As such, it opens our psychic faculties and our understanding of archetypal levels. Let's grab one from here then. Let's look at the archetype of what this is that's going on. Let's get you to understand this archetype here. Because whatever this is not allowing you to see the bigger picture. Hasn't been allowing you to see the bigger picture. So some of you could be stuck here on something. For some of you, it's just a matter of the words that you utilize to express what it is that you are processing in your mind. Show me the archetype here. Jeez. The Village. You're attempting to make sense as to why you've been the outcast, but you're making sense of it from a state of pain, even if you may not be verbalizing that in that manner. Your actions, the energy and motion within your body reflects that, where you are, instead of telling yourself the truth of the reality without getting into this state of feeling sorry for yourself, instead of telling yourself, you know what, I was really the outcast, I've been left out, and I see why. Instead of it just making it that clear cut, precise, you get into this mode of wondering why, or there's still the residue within your body that reflects the wondering why. With the Village and the Siren here. Because the Siren energy is extremely unconventional. And when it comes to being understood, that's not a thing for Siren energy. You could care less if people understand you. But it's an understanding of what that actually means for yourself. Because when you truly don't care, even from a space of, gratitude and love, you're not carrying basically a grudge towards your past experiences. Or even an attitude towards it, in a sense. Because wherever your energy is being directed at this time in regards to the illusion that must dissolve, and this could be something that is so subtle here for some of you, and the subtle aspects of it become so strong when it's time for you to focus on you and make plans when it comes to what's next for you. But all of this is perfect for, this eclipse season of everything that was being brought up to the surface to be released before a new structure can happen. Okay? Hold on. Let me pull some past life energy in here to see where this is coming from. Because even with the matters of the third eye, that's perception here. This is a pattern. There's a certain pattern here. This has to do with something, you feel something is off, but you can't articulate why. Okay. I mean, that's usually why anybody would watch tarot to begin with. It could also have to do with something that you're possibly ignoring your intuition, then regretting it later. Or these are the energies that you are releasing. You know something was wrong, but couldn't articulate why. You know why, but then there's still this part of you within you that wants to possibly move as though you don't know why. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to say I don't know why you're doing that, but what I will say is stop doing that. Because when it comes to not being able to clearly perceive and see a pattern, recognize a pattern, it's a result of you ignoring your intuition, then regretting it later. Constant mental noise, no clarity. That's the main thing there. Constant mental noise and no clarity. Looking for answers from everyone else. difficulty concentrating or finishing thought cycles. Now, when it comes to looking for answers from everyone else, that could be what's coming up here for some of you in regards to the answers that you were looking for, who you've asked, and realize their position in your life right now. Because this is really the moment, collective, of really stepping into the truth of your identity. Release all that being nice stuff. Being nice is lying to yourself and to the one that you're being nice to. Being kind is different. When you're being kind, you're in the energy of discernment, and that is the energy that you will be supported by. That would allow you to thrive moving forward is your discernment. Where you're being mindful as to where it is you're placing your energy. Even when it comes to just your thought process. Oh yeah, we definitely in that Mercury shadow phase. Shit. So there we go. Mercury retrograde is approaching. So there could be some of that energy returning. Okay. If it's not a person, it's an idea. Some of you are having ideas to move forward with. Others of you are having ideas where you have to close that out, so that way the ideas for you to move forward with, where you have a proper use of your energy and making plans and focusing, you can actually connect to those ideas. What blocks the mind's eye is also the oscillating or the back and forth between skepticism and magical thinking. Basically, it's having everything to do with one not trusting their own perception. Let me look a little further into this. I want to see village here within the text. Is it the village? Okay. The village, the hometown. Yeah. The hometown, the family, the tribe, and it showed up in reverse. Wow. Returning to the village. Listen up, y'all. Returning to the village is as important as leaving it. This can be thought of as a completion or an integration of what you've learned out in the wild. The village represents or presents us with a conundrum. On one hand, it's the place that feels most as home, the place to which you can always return. Nostalgia and comfort draw us back. On the other hand, it's the very place you must leave in order to grow. Around the village, an unspoken boundary exists, one most villagers do not want you to cross. Though some support your leaving, still you hear whispers of doubt as you venture beyond its borders, leaving them behind. So this would be someone mastering that wolf energy, where you recognize, yes, you are a guardian and a leader of your clan, of your family, of your tribe. However, you also have a deep understanding that not everybody can come with you in this next level, in this next phase. The energy of the village is present anytime we feel restricted by a certain group, community, family, place, or ideology. It may have served us in the past, yet staying within its parameters will never satiate our thirst for life. Thank the village for all that it has provided. Ashe for the confirmation right there, what we mentioned earlier. Thank the village for all it has provided, knowing you will someday return. For now, the world awaits. When this energy is basically in reverse, in the dark, small-minded, gossipy, trapped, and restricted. And then we have the siren that shows up here. Let's look. The siren is the temptress, the seducer, the femme fatale. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. Of course. It's basically the energy. Some of you, this message right now should clear up the conflict that you have going on in your mind. Plain and simple. You have a way of going on about life. This could have to do with you connecting to taboo topics, the occult, astrology, divination, numerology, seeing the Bible exactly for what it is, esoterically, metaphysically. Yet you come from a family or a group of people who claim that they support what it is that you're doing, but when you are not in the environment that they are present, they're sitting here gossiping about you. Some of you are having mental conflict about these people, and that shouldn't even be the case. It should be a real easy decision to, disconnect yourself and do so with love, because you recognize there's a part of your journey, there's a part of your life cycle that, yes, where they were able to relate because you were at that level. You don't dim your light and you don't go back to a level that these people are at in their comfort zone because of what it is that they're saying that they may not agree, and it makes you feel some type of way. You continue on your path and doing what it is that you came here to do to fulfill your soul's mission. Because they're doing exactly what they're intended to do and they were supposed to do based on their soul's mission, whether they are aware of it or not, is to be in your energetic environment or space to create this level of opposition that gets you to a point to realize, yo, this ain't me no more. I'm not doing this. And there's really no need to keep on doing this. It's not vital to life. In fact, it takes away from one's vitality of life. To be surrounding oneself with people who are comfortable where they're at. You go out and do the uncomfortable to get back into your comfort stage of still being able to handle challenges where it may come across as discomfort. When it comes to you going towards what you came here to do, leave these people where they're gonna be at. Let them say whatever it is they have to say. The more one allows what other people are saying about them, the more power of your own you're giving away to these people and these energies that are doing so. You don't have to do that. You really don't. People always gonna have something to say, whether you're doing something that you're supposed to be doing or not doing it. So you might as well just go about your business. People always gonna have something to say. As the song, let's give them something to talk about. Give them something to talk about. But just keep minding your business. Okay. Because some of you, your energy is rising. Collective, and I ain't gonna say some of you, this is collective message. This collective right here, right now, your energy is rising. This mystic energy, this siren, temptress, seductress. Not speaking in a gender form either. Speaking in regards to just energy, feminine, masculine. You feel me? This is one of them lives where I may have to make me another cup because this coffee right now is scrumptious. Some of you out here, no, not some. Let's get to it. Collective out here looking scrumptious. Okay? Keep talking positive words to yourself and mean that shit. You love the way people admire you, respect you. Most of all, respect you, not from a state of intimidation, but the fact that they love themselves so much that they can recognize another energy outside themselves that loves themselves and respects themselves, that they love and respect them too. Hear what I'm saying? Do y'all hear what I'm saying right now? Or we just sleep behind the screen? What we doing? Okay. All right. Now, let me see a little bit more here about this side. That ruby. Ruby. Popping. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in the spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters. The work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, 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 to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Attempting to resist the call may even be an option. However, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. So there is this awakening here because it is upright, an awakening of sensuality, absorption, and arousal. However, this could be, where some of you are awakening the sacral energy, because that's also regards to the sacral as well. You're coming out of past situations, especially with the moon in Libra. There could have been past situations that you're now releasing in regards to wickedness, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, insatiability. To go deeper, the album from Lana Del Rey, Ultraviolence, is a suggestion here for the siren. Lana Del Rey in general is amazing siren vibes. Something is happening in sets of threes, because with mermaids, they usually come in sets of threes. You could have been seeing 333 quite a bit. Birds in threes, a synchronicity in threes. Let me pull from where these girls at. Well, they're not always female. Let's look at the fairies. Inner child. For some of you, this has to do with seeing adultery happen as a child towards a parent that you're now releasing at this time. It may have, not may have, it can certainly have an effect when it comes to the way you go about life in any type of dynamic in regards to partnerships. We have magical gateway. It takes courage and trust to venture into the unknown. Yet this is where the greatest rewards are. It's time to step boldly forward without looking back. What else? Excuse the movement of the camera there. Keep moving it. Look in a book. I love this card. Whatever your question right now, this is the second time you're getting a message in regards to the current moment you have here and now that showed up here in this deck, over this way, and now this. Whatever your question, right now, you'll find an answer in the book. The words you find will bring insight, will bring the insight you seek. This is something as simple as opening up a book that you were telling yourself that you were about to read. As a matter of fact, let me go to 6 book. Shout out to 6 and the exemption of Ra. Hold up. That's wild that that's the book of choice right now. Oh, shit. It's my relentless soul Lyran brother. 6. Matuwaki Windu. The exemption of Ra. This is what an example of looking in the book. And I'm going to do this here with y'all. You just grab a book, open up a page, look to where your finger is. Mind you, look where the shit went. Eh? Then it says here. What is this? The sound that opens the invisible. We're going to read this entire page. For centuries, people have said they were praying without ever knowing what the word was doing to their body. They thought they were entering a spiritual exchange, but they were prying at a door that never opened. Shit. Pry is forward strain. Pry is scraping. Pry is pressing breath against resistance. Pry is effort without entry. The distortion happened through sound, not belief. A single vowel softened pry into pray, hiding the collapse behind a devotional tone. The pronunciation changed just enough to disguise the mechanical truth. The motion inside the human body remained identical. Forward breath, upward tension, collapsed diaphragm, suspended ribs, dim chest, tightened throat. When someone says pray, the nervous system enters strain. The jaw collapses, the shoulders fold, my candle over here popping. The chest compresses, the pelvis shifts backward. This is not reverence. It is collapse disguised as devotion. From a linguistic field perspective, pride keeps the body pressing outward instead of rising upward. Breath moves horizontally instead of vertically. Energy disperses into effort instead of ascending into capacity. These are the type of people I love having conversations with. This is the shit I'll talk about. This is why people feel unheard when they pray. They are not entering anything. They are pushing. In ancient Kemet, dua was never vocal without posture. Dua was the moment when inner awareness rises. Let's go to the very top of this. Now, when you speak dua, the body does something else. The body does something else entirely instead of praying. Dua opens upward. Dua releases the diaphragm. Dua lifts the sternum. Dua widens the ribs. Here's the thing about this entire text of what I'm looking at right now and opening this book. This is why I say you got to be mindful of your words, because it literally does something to your body. When you say I hate something, do you know how much blockages you send up and down from your toes to the top of your head? Or try all this other shit? You ain't got no more time to be misusing energy now here, collective. Told you over here we have a great time. However, the main thing is to make sure you are moving accordingly, because it's really not a game. The way that the collective has been programmed and with this false doctrine of life is fucking disgusting. And to sit here to continue that pattern and not align with one's awareness to stop doing so because you're so comfortable moving in a certain way that you know for fuck sure ain't helping you. Come on now. Dua lifts the sternum. Dua widens the ribs. Dua restores breath as the carrier of intelligence rather than an instrument of strain. Dua is not begging. Dua is upward acknowledgement. Dua is the internal gesture of spirit standing back up. In ancient Kemet, dua was never vocal without posture. Dua was the moment when inner awareness rises. It was acknowledgement of the unseen without shrinking in the seen world. Dua and do were one command. Dua opens the unseen chamber. Do walks into the physical world with what the unseen gave. Dua rises inward. Do expresses outward. Modern spirituality severed the pair. Dua was erased and do was left empty. People began doing without origin, acting without clarity, moving without internal activation. They prayed without rising, they acted without grounding, and exhaustion became religion. Ancient language solved this before behavior ever existed. Ancient language solved this before behavior ever existed. Because dua was recognition and lifting, anything done afterward contained power. When dua rises, the ba moves. The ba travels into spaces the physical body cannot reach. Dream, vision, intuition, memory, retrieval, unconscious architecture. When dua rises, the ka fills. The ka, the ba. The ka replenishes the life force the body depleted through labor. And once again, in regards to the energy of anywhere that my presence is, as an energy once again assisting the upgrade of this earth, what are the first four letters of this channel? It's actually my name, Al-Ba. When dua rises, the ka fills. The ka replenishes the life force the body depleted through labor. When dua rises, the ren stabilizes. The true identity holds its shape even in environments that demand compliance. This is part of the reason why I move the way I move anywhere I'm at and when it comes to people interacting with me. Before you sit here and disrespect your own energy and this energy, you might as well just get up on out of here. Because for what? And it's not from an egotistical standpoint. No, it's the actual phonetics and sound of the name itself. Because if you're someone that has been here on the channel, you already know the vibes. If you're someone that's newly here within the past year, past 2 years even, the journey of remembrance, what that meant, it was quite the brutal journey in seeing if you don't recognize what it is that you embodied, this type of shit that you keep seeing is going to keep happening. And it's shit that people can't come back from. At least not in the same body that they was in. Some of you have a mission where you are, it may even feel as though that you have been taunted to move out of something. Energy has been so strong and you're wondering, there goes the wondering why. Because you have a mission that is not just for anybody. Therefore, this is also part of the reason why you even chose to move the way that you've been moving, or not so much that. This is part of the reason as to why you've chose the journey that you've chosen, why you even aligned with this frequency here to reactivate that soul memory. Because for the high priestess to show up as the reality you must accept moving forward, that's literally someone who is aware that you are the embodiment of your higher self. Your higher self don't take the type of shit that you've been taking in your life from the very second I'm just saying this right now and from the moment that you came into this realm to begin with. So much so the higher self will step aside for you to make a fool of yourself. And allow the ego to drive you, because that's what the ego do. It has a purpose, but if one is unaware of its purpose, to place you in situations that may even feel as it may even come across as embarrassment, it's to get you to shift. Now, granted, a lot that the collective has been taught or raised by wasn't making this known. Or if it was becoming known, it was something that was more so something to be afraid of. That's the main thing of this energy right now with Saturn and Neptune and Aries and everything else that's going on cosmically, in terms of there's no reason for you to be afraid anymore. Because some of you still carry that wound from past lifetimes where you couldn't express yourself and do the magical things, the healing things that you have the capability of doing. Because once again, these things that you see in these sci-fi movies and all this other stuff, those are not just movies, y'all. Those are not just movies. Not at all. Something as simple as the fart, the fact that you can fart is magical. You can start there. Shit. Yo. Sometimes I wonder why. Just why? All right. Bruh. The true identity holds its shape even in environments that demand compliance. When Dua rises, the shoot integrates memory instead of haunting the mind. When Dua rises, the Ak illuminates. The intellect glows with insight instead of dimming under pressure. Prayer never accomplished this because prayer was pride mispronounced. The psychological price of pride is immeasurable. People press outward for answers instead of opening upward for capacity. They externalize spiritual logic. They ask instead of remembering. They petition instead of rising. This framework produces helplessness, dependency, exhaustion, emotional regression, identity collapse. And that's the same framework of the collective reset of this solar eclipse in Aquarius. It's the same one that's being demolished. And now we're in Pisces season, it's dissolving. So if you're someone who connects to helplessness or to people who are in that energy, you're fucked. Dependency, exhaustion, emotional regression, identity collapse, listen. My energy might be too intense here for some of y'all. You don't have to be here. But this is what it is now. Because there may be another time that we talk about the same exact thing. It comes out in a much more softer way, in a sense. There's a reason why the energy is coming through this way right now. Because the time is now. Especially how often, because we take note here in regards to how often some of these cards come up in the presence of other powerful ones. Especially if you're someone who's been watching this channel for quite a bit. I'm picking up on the collective energy. This ain't about, oh, that ain't me, and I ain't asked you that. Obviously, the shit coming up. High power, but conflicted? Nah. So we here now. We here now. It's time to restore the original relationship between spirit and action. So you're not out here exhausting yourself or being around exhausting people. Now, we've looked in the book. We have to get one more card. Solitude. Think of being alone as meaning you are all one and in total harmony with everything. The greatest treasures are those that wait silently during the quiet times. Magical gateway, look in the book, and solitude. Now, what is the responsibility that is emerging for the collective here? Oh, this is going to be a great one. This is going to be a great one here. Mm-hmm. Do we go? We go with this section here. One thing about me, I'm very passionate about people's, achieving their goals and seeing success, especially if you're someone who's been around too many energies where people don't actually support you, because part of your journey is to support yourself. You may feel as though while you're doing that, you have to prove that you were able to do it on your own by yourself. You ain't gotta do that shit either. Fuck them. Just be you. Just be you. That shit makes you uncomfortable, you shouldn't be here. Yeah, the goal is to make sure that whoever's here on this channel, you belong here. This shit is not for play. This is not entertainment. This is not entertainment. Fuck that. And this is not for, this is not to replace for some who are better off going towards an actual, you know what I mean, doctor, psychologist, or whatever. Don't mistake this for that. We're not the same. Granted, I do have a degree in psychology. However, I use my shit unconventionally, while also being an athlete, a personal trainer, yoga instructor, everything that I've studied. And when I come to do this here for the collective or do my one-on-ones, this is why the prices is going up. We gonna reflect what it is that we have credentials for. Ain't no more of that, okay, let me help people out and make it something that's doable. No, fuck that. We gonna make sure the value aligns with what we doing here. Okay? Because for some, it'll take a minimum of 8 years to obtain the information that I have for you with just within one session. Don't play with me. Don't fucking play with me. Because I've noticed even in the past, that's part of the reason why I've even placed it at that type of price before, because I would give people all of the information. But if you're not going to use it accordingly and put the shit together, then I'm going to put the shit together, but we're going to raise the price. I gave many information for them to, obtain that alignment within themselves. Let's go. What's the responsibility that's emerging here? What's the responsibility that's emerging? What's the responsibility that's emerging here? The great teacher. And there goes the wolf energy. But in reverse. I'm going to take them cards as they come through here. Now, this has to do with you releasing, holding space for expecting others to move a certain way. It's very significant. So that way you can move forward, learning from those experiences and expanding, ascending and expanding, spiritual spiral, ascending and expanding. Because the responsibility that's emerging here is for you to also be that entire teacher, 33 energy, an ascended master. That's the responsibility that's emerging for those of you that are here right now. You're also ascended masters. You're also oracles, seers, and all this other stuff. Stop playing yourself. Gratitude, pretty lady. You're also, I'm telling you, y'all the ones at the front line. Y'all the ones at the front line. You can't expect anyone else to do what you can do. I just gave you all my own personal example. I'm no longer allowing people to do or expecting people to do because they have the information, expecting to put the shit together. Not doing that no more. Because obviously some of y'all ain't do that shit. But gratitude for that, because it also shows me, listen, you're the one with the capabilities of putting it together. You put it together exactly, but the work that it takes to put it together, make the value match. Whatever it is it takes for you to put something together, collective, make sure your value matches. Don't be afraid to match the value of what it is that you know and that you came here with as a gift to share with the collective, yes. But in the game of life and playing it accordingly, make sure you're aligning with the currencies and the mechanics of the way things are moving. So you're not out here living a life of chastity. Real shit. Because the thing is, and it's the truth of it all, and this is in any dynamic in regards to this verbiage. When you pay, you'll pay attention. Then attention can pay you. When you apply the wisdom and experience, this will now give you an exception to the rules when it comes to a certain game that they've imposed on you to continue to play. That ain't for you. When you apply wisdom and experience, especially with this card here, the great teacher showing up, this gives you the exception to the rule where there is no reason as to why you should be walking around here mentally conflicted as a seer, oracle, speaker. Listen, the last time it was the fire horse year, that's when the Black Panthers started. You see where we going at with this type of energy? It was the commencing of the Black Party organization. 1966. And here you are in 2026. With Saturn and Neptune going into Aries. You really think this is the time to sit here out here and be playing it soft? Or being scared or still holding on to past shit that keeps you in a space where you're not able to take the proper steps and respond to life accordingly instead of reacting? Big boss energy. Oh, okay. Why is this in reverse though? You're already 75 minutes in. Why is this? This shit is happening quick. Yeah. Show you what's here. What just shows up as I'm picking up. Yeah, there's something. What is this you're not grasping? Let me see. Here and now, power, love begins. And then we have the strength that shows up, spiritual strength. What's this? Chop wood. Yeah, cleaning up the chaos and conflict. Yeah, the way I'm delivering this fucking message. It's all right. Wow, Mercury and Sagittarius, though. Your own thought process can't even block what it is that you're seeing clearly now. Mercury and Sagittarius. Sagittarius is I see. And Mercury is at a detriment in the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. Your own ways of thinking can't even stop the bigger picture. That's why that siren and the village came out together with the village in reverse. 7700 on the time up there. It's a big picture processing ways of life. Let me see this. Show me. Accelerated motion. Wow. With Venus and Virgo. 9 of Pentacles. Show love through service. Yeah, see, I'm telling you. Y'all ascended masters. I'm talking to the ascended master version of you, the high priest, high priestess version of you, the embodiment of your higher self. Now let's go a little bit deeper into this in regards to the embodiment, what it means to embody your higher self. What I am gonna look at first though, let me see what's lingering. There's something, that's the grasping thing. Hold on. It's on this side. Now I'm hot. Cause it ain't about you floating away or some shit. It ain't. Okay. Look where I stopped shuffling at as I'm about to put this in order. How are you being called to step up and lead? You're going to see what lesson you're not grasping first. Because to embody your highest self, that's basically you aligning your choices with your deeper wisdom, your Saturn energy. Aligning your Saturn with your North Node. Show me what it is they're not grasping. Past life energy. What's this? You're giving too much flexibility with these karmic relationships. Exactly. We said that already. That's 17, Aquarius, the star. Lessons and blessings when it comes to a karmic relationship. Y'all keep investing your time, body, energy, thoughts, breath. With the galactic at the well shit. Now, oh boy. Which one should we even look at first? Because they're interchangeable anyway. Because they actually connect to each other anyway, the lesson is whether you recognize growth without adversity as a catalyst. That's basically the notion of something has to be extremely challenging for you to feel successful for it. Yo, that is so fucked up. It really is. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, the way the essence of life has been flipped and turned and all this other shit, yo. My thing is, I give that shit a standing ovation because it worked. It actually worked. With this lessons and blessings card showing up, it can reflect lifetimes in which difficulty, responsibility, or hardship served as the primary conditions for growth. Basically, these were experiences where resilience was developed through necessity, adapting to loss, uncertainty, labor, or constraint that required endurance rather than choice. It's a moment to reflect. Can you actually look at any of your relationships in the past that you didn't that you continued based on being able to overcome some level of difficulty, uncertainty, or labor, basically that management way of handling a relationship or managing love when love is not something to be managed? Because all of us have been bamboozled with that way of, you know, processing relationships and matters of love, which is why all of them were karmic relationships. Granted, there are some karmic relationships that can become dharmic. 8444 on the timer. Yes, it can be that way. But each one has to be aware what that even means. The ones that are aware of that, these are the relationships that are of a higher vibration or divine union. However, those type of environments of adapting to loss, uncertainty, labor, or constraint that required endurance rather than choice, they cultivated certain skills that were part of the lessons you had to learn, such as persistence, problem solving, and the ability to continue despite limitation. But that doesn't mean you have to keep going in that cycle, though, of repeating that lesson and obtaining the same degree of persistence and problem solving, all this other stuff. Information here could be quite paradoxical, but that's once you figure the paradox of life, now you living for real. Your entire life is a paradox. So now in this present life, this imprint can actually create a tendency to interpret challenges as inevitable or even required for progress. Where you would feel more comfortable working through problems and sometimes unconsciously seeking difficulty because it feels familiar or validating. And carrying the assumption that ease is not okay, or that it lacks meaning, or that achievement must involve struggle to be legitimate. These are the type of patterns that come up from earlier conditions where effort and survival were inseparable. So again, the lesson now, collective, is recognizing growth without requiring adversity as its catalyst. Because your development can occur through curiosity, collaboration, and intentional learning rather than crisis. You have the invitation right now to apply resilience selectively rather than universally, and choosing when perseverance is necessary and when adaptation or rest is more effective. To do so, this is the moment for you to reframe your narrative. And once again, we have the moon in Aries that's filling out the energy when it comes to where you are at based on your identity before Saturn and Neptune shows up. So now the key is, when it comes to this, instead of defining your identity through what you have endured, see endurance as one of many tools available, while acknowledging your strengths without attaching them exclusively to hardship. That would allow you to now expand beyond survival-oriented patterns. Basically switching from growth through struggle to growth through awareness. Yes, you carry the ability to withstand difficulty, but your development now is more so about recognizing that you are also allowed to thrive without recreating it. Now, with the karmic relationships, and it shows up in reverse here, it's basically showing me that in this lifetime, these relationships often feel significant, where you are still connected to encounters that may have seemed charged with meaning, drawing you quickly into engagement or concern. However, intensity alone does not determine whether the connection is constructive. The lesson here is awareness, recognizing patterns without assuming they must be repeated exactly. Allowing yourself to participate in responding differently, using your insight rather than your reflex. Because these karmic relationships include deep loyalty, conflict. The chaos and conflict cards show up there too. It includes deep loyalty, conflict, obligation, or unfinished emotional change. And these are the same bonds you've had in previous lifetimes. Bonds where with others where that were left unresolved, or creating patterns that seek understanding through repetition rather than completion. Seeking understanding through repetition rather than completion. That's what keeps you in a karmic relationship. Or that's the basis of a karmic relationship. Now you get why I keep telling y'all you're not here to be understood by anyone but yourself. The moment you can understand yourself in these relationships, now you can actually seek understanding through completion rather than getting someone else to understand you, repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. And you expect them to get it because you said something. Just because y'all speak the same language don't mean y'all relate. And the reason why these type of situations do come up with deep loyalty, conflict, obligation, or unfinished emotional exchange is because earlier circumstances limited resolution through separation, misunderstanding, or external forces. And now the connection moves forward as familiarity, intensity, or immediate recognition in the present life. Some of you may have been in certain relationships or bonds where they may have been formed under conditions where choice was constrained. Because on another perspective of this involves accountability, where you have the capacity to decide how to participate, which comes with setting boundaries, communicating directly, and allowing relationships to evolve rather than reenact old dynamics. Because resolutions are only going to come through conscious behavior, not through endurance or avoidance. So if you're sitting here holding on, especially with this karmic relationship showing up in reverse, ultimately it represents transformation of repetition into learning. Being able to carry memory of connection across time. Your development now is more so in engaging those connections with clarity, ensuring that what continues does so by choice rather than habit. And some of you are still stuck in the habit. There's so many ways of being stuck in that habit too now. One of the main ones is the way that you express the situation to yourself. Because I'm always going to bring it back to self. Because your awareness and understanding of yourself is going to be the best and the golden and silver key for you to move forward. Or else continue to give the keys to somebody that will constantly wipe your house clean, having you restart over and over again, and still giving them the keys to do the same thing over and over again, giving away your dignity, giving away your power. You know what? Did I? Hold on. Let me look for this other thing I put together just a few hours ago, last night. A lot of this information will be on that timeline reset map that I'm putting together for the collective here. Let's see here. How we feeling? Let me grab some water. How we feeling? Ain't none of y'all gonna respond? Or so I should just get off the live then? Is that what y'all saying? She said, no, I was thinking about it. Well, I appreciate love you for responding. Gratitude. See, even that works for me. Gratitude for the respect in your manners. Yeah, there's some ancient, old school type of ancestors flowing through this message on some. You don't have no manners. So now, because even under the current astrological sky that we under, it's literally moving you towards embodying your higher self anyway. Hold on, I got burp. Because the sky right now doesn't even support abstract spirituality. It's literally demanding an incarnation of insight, where the highest self is not even something that's above you right now. It is the version of you that can live truth without performance, delay, or escape. And with Neptune and Saturn merging at the beginning of Aries while Pisces energy still saturates the atmosphere, collective, you're basically moving from seeking meaning to becoming responsible for meaning. I just heard somebody, I don't have to respond just because you asked for us to respond. Why the fuck are you here? There we go. Told y'all this ain't for entertainment. Not no more. Maybe 2 months ago, you could have kept that shit up. Moving forward, when some of y'all don't even have access to the channel, you know why. Telling you. My kind is only allowed to come up here in this reality when the new beginning must commence. Because only one of y'all answers when I ask how y'all feeling. So now, this is the exact type of energy that the higher self carries as an embodiment. It'll call you out on your shit every time. And some of y'all feel as though I'm just saying shit just to be saying it. Or you moving as though this is a whole other channel. The collective is moving from seeking meaning to becoming responsible for meaning. Saturn in Aries is Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. Every time my energy comes up here as a vessel, it's just delivering that message. Gratitude for replying, Michelle. Okay. You're shedding, you're releasing. Continue to rest. Okay. This is why embodiment is the theme. You are most welcome, Magnetic Life. The sky right now is not allowing any type of conceptual growth because Pisces will be dissolving the illusion. So Saturn steps into a point of requiring accountability. And Aries initiating existence through action. So the energy that's coming through as I deliver these messages are what you're going to feel internally when you're out here playing yourself. (611) is very significant. 1811, 611 on the top of the screen there as well. What is that? That is Ten of Swords. That ain't true, honey. Damn it. Yeah, Ten of Swords, Mercury and Gemini. You have the option of being at an Ace of Swords or a Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is Mercury and Gemini. Well, that's the tarot card represented by Mercury and Gemini. Ace of Swords is that mental clarity despite the adversity, which also has to do with these lessons and blessings and karmic relationships that you all coming out of. People should not feel the capacity to misuse their energy in your presence moving forward. I mean that shit. People should not feel as though they have the capacity to be in your energetic presence, misusing their energy to discombobulate yours. Gotta be quick with it and recognizing when that's occurring. Don't allow your spiritual language to lose power, translate into behavior. Because that's the energy you're being supported by anyway, astrologically. This is why some of you may be even feel less inspired by past theories, or less intrigued when it comes to symbolic rituals that wasn't even bringing forth any type of change to begin with, making you more aware of what feels true versus what sounds true, while also being confronted where you're not living what you already know. Don't view this as discomfort. It's more so integration pressure. Because the higher self right now is no longer a mystical topic. It is coherence. The higher self now is basically the most honest version, the most transparent version of you. Where earlier cycles allowed you to work on yourself indefinitely, with now this cycle asks for visible alignment. Where embodiment now means making decisions that reflect inner clarity, even when inconvenient. Ending behaviors that contradict values already understood. Simplifying identity so action can match intention. Removing distance between awareness and execution. The gap between knowing and doing is what this astrology is closing. And the role of Pisces season is the literal embodiment of this process. Before Aries can act, Pisces has to clear distortion. Mind you, just to give you a little bit more intel as to why I moved the way I move over here. I have a North Node in Pisces, and it reflects the same be a symbol of the jockey. And what year are we in right now? And when am I having a North Node return? Yeah, has to do with purpose, the collective, in the eighth house, which gets you to a point of getting your ass in alignment with your purpose when it comes to the taboo occult, and fuck what anybody got to say about what makes them uncomfortable. Which also comes with closing out a lot of, or ending a lot of partnerships that are not in alignment with being the truthful oneself. And we're literally in that energy right now too. You show up here because you're aligning with the fact of you that wants to connect deeper to the unseen realms, but the unseen is becoming much more seen. And to do so, you have to dissolve all these false motivations, borrowed expectations, emotional residue from previous identities. Again, you're not becoming someone new. You are literally removing what was never yours to carry. 11111 on the screen. So when it comes to embodying the highest self, the conjunction tomorrow does something extremely rare. It makes the intangible measurable. Neptune is going to ask you again, what is your truth? Saturn's going to ask you, where is the evidence of that truth in your life? Collective, what is your truth? Where is the evidence of that truth in your life? For me personally, that's me being at peace with everything I had to disconnect from for the betterment of me, my purpose, my soul, integrated with my vessel. And doing so with love too. With the utmost love, unconditional love, and gratitude for every opposition, known and unknown. Embodiment of your higher self, collective, you know when it happens? When what is your truth and where is the evidence of that truth in your life matches. Studying that question, that's what's up. There it is. If those answers don't match, the system now exposes the difference. Ask correction. This is why now collective alignment requires discipline, not inspiration. Discipline. Because as we step into Aries season, the body now becomes the instrument of alignment. Even while this conjunction happens and while the moon is there, you're going to feel the body as an instrument come into alignment. Where you're acting cleanly, speaking directly, choosing without over-explaining, standing inside decisions once made, not forcefully, not aggressive, just clear. For me, I got a Mars in Aries, so it's gonna be a little fiery, all right? It's gonna be a bit fiery out here. And I'm a Mars dominant. A Sagittarius as a Mars dominant. Man, shit. If I sat here and actually gave a fuck as to the way I deliver certain messages, I'd be over here with the utmost high fucking blood pressure and all type of shit. Especially carrying the essence of remembering Earth before humans even existed on this motherfucker. And I'm okay with not being for everyone. I don't desire to be for everybody at all. At all. Yo. On top of being a Mars dominant, then you got Moon and Saturn that follow up right after that. Y'all really think who out here to play me? Not me. Shit may come across funny time and time. I be so. You want to see the dragon come out that ain't fucking with nobody? Think less of yourself and expect me to give a fuck and see what happens. Think less of yourself and expect me to give a fuck. Watch what happens. You don't even want to know. The human form me from childhood makes me care sometimes. I feel I have mastered being alone and standing alone. You better get that shit in order. Caring about the shit you don't have to be caring about. Because what is that caring doing for you? What is that caring doing for you? How that feel in your body? Does it make sense in your body? Does it allow you to feel joy and bliss when you care in that sense? Especially if it has something to do with your truth. I'm not saying, be ignorant or whatever. Although how I'm expressing myself to some may sound as though whatever. I don't give a fuck. However, just delay. So why continue to, you see what I'm saying? That's not even care. That's the lack thereof. Which is also what this was talking about too. You know what I mean? Gratitude for sharing. Somebody else had to hear that as well. Gratitude for sharing. Being bold in sharing that. You got this. I know you. If you over here, I know you got it. You got it. The quantum ways of universal law wouldn't place you here if you didn't. It's that simple, for real, for real. Now, back to our questions, y'all. It's a lot of cleaning house type of vibes, you feel me? What is the change that is asking for embodiment when it comes to the collective? What is the change that is asking for embodiment? What is the change that is asking for embodiment? Let me look at the planetary hours real quick. Where were we? Yeah, all of that was going on during Mercury. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Mercury, the messenger, the bridge between the higher and lower realms. The gap that the collective has was in that gap. Everything that I was saying up to this point, if that shit they moved in, it's cause somebody in here, you holding on to that way of life real tight. And the change asking for embodiment. The raven. Literal change asking for embodiment. The releasing of the old and resting with energy exchange energy to create abundance. One more. Go on you. The fire guardian and the empress, or the lady. What is this that they have to let go of here? What does the collective have to let go of here? Show me the archetype. In order to enjoy growth and reap rewards, because there could be growth and the reaping of something you do not desire. So what is the archetype that they are to release? Show me the archetype collective is to release. Damn. The Bardo, 50. Change. Bringing it to a 5. Yo, you can't make this shit up because this has to do with the in between. Show me more. What's in there? Show me what's there. Show me the archetype of what's there in that gap. Show me the gap. What's in the gap? Wow. Not the matching. Not the matching. What? What's in between the crone? Grandmother. Starting from there. Okay. Your grandmother's pains, hurts, and struggles is in your actual DNA. It's in your blood and DNA. Yo, okay. Now we're doing this. Okay, we're doing this here. So, at a cellular level, this has to do with something in regards to stress hormones, the tone of your nervous system. There's trauma stored in your tissues, inflammatory patterns, because of your DNA blueprint. Every commute. Hold on. Immune system programming, nervous system wiring, hormonal signaling, stress response systems. The way your cells, you have to release the way your cells behave under conditions. This is called this exact thing is the reason for certain inflammation, stress chemistry, immune dysregulation, toxic environments, your environment. Your genes don't do anything alone. Your genes move based on the environment you place them in. That's more wow. And you see that? That's look at okay. Going to the comment that you mentioned earlier. Because everything has a root to it. See what I'm saying? For instance, let me close these blinds. It's already a bit dark. I'm gonna give you an example so you can think of your experience. Hold on. So you process your experience. Hold on. Restroom. So tell me, make sure I get everything that I had to get done before I go live. This is one of them long ones. So, as an example, They got worse. The water. Hey. When it comes to, because here's how the body goes through a certain level of dysfunction. That type of dysfunction emerges when normal genes produce dysfunctional outputs. And it's based off of stress chemistry, inflammation, misfolded proteins, immune dysregulation, toxic environments, metabolic imbalance, and nervous system overactivation. You know, when people say something is genetic, that's a lie. Better yet, it's a half truth. It's a full lie with a half truth, meaning your genes don't do anything unless they're in. The genes move based on the environment that it's in. So it's not that the situation is genetic. It's the same shit that's being given to the genes to move a certain way or to develop certain cells. That's the reason why something keeps happening. So what's genetic is more so the eating habits, the emotional reactions instead of response to environments or situations and experiences in one's life. Primarily those two. Okay. Because that layer, when it comes to what's the gap that has to be closed and released, the bloodline energy is more of a cellular biological memory type of topic. Ancestrally, now we're looking at psychological or interpretive memory. When it comes to your psyche, now this is more so connected to your ancestors, where it's basically a non-genetic inheritance. It's more so patterns of perception, meaning, and interpretation transmitted either through culture, family systems, or social conditioning, which includes worldviews, belief systems, identity formation, threat perception, emotional processing styles, coping mechanism, attachment patterns, trauma narratives, survival strategies, moral framework, social conditioning, meaning making structures, behavioral modeling, stress interpretations, relational templates, all that shit. Basically, the way your nervous system interprets reality. So once you get to the point where you recognize what is yours and what is someone else's, that's when you now embark on the journey of a full release. And now you can fully rest. That was the whole point of the past year of the snake year. When it comes to shedding old skin that sheds has to be something that is extremely old and is already cracking off and whatever. That it has to come off. On top of it being a 9-year that it occurred too. We won't see that for another 12 in terms of the snake year itself. Right? Yeah. Which is also a full Jupiter cycle as well. Going through the signs, just about. And Jupiter rewards based on the lessons that have been integrated. Remember this, your body does not respond to reality. It responds to your perception of reality. So where your body is now collective and what it is you're feeling has everything to do when it comes to the way you perceive your reality. It's not just responding to it on its own, which is basically the topic of epigenetics. Epi having to do with what's above the gene. What's above the gene is you. You determine the environment that you place it in. And your perception of that environment is what the body responds to. As far as this message here, specifically within the collective, especially with this crone grandmother, great grandmother energy, specifically, she's either a earth sign or fire sign, and she's literally around you making sure you get this shit correct. Which is also why you're in my presence. You're here. Where your ancestors are making sure that you arrive in this space to get an understanding of what they already know, that you're not there goes the grasping, that you're not grasping fully. For whatever reason, that's besides the point. And the main point is that the body does not respond to reality. It responds to the perception of reality. You are the one that is in charge of that perception. Then we get into the topic after the bloodline and ancestral layer. Then that's when you go into the angel and galactic layers, because you do got galactic here. But they move completely differently than the bloodline and ancestry or ancestor realm. Because now when we're speaking to the energies of angel, that layer of angels, this has to do with structural and regulatory systems, which is also equivalent to the essence of your higher self and what is actually uploading now. Because when we're looking at that angel layer, this is the laws that regulate systems regardless of your belief, identity, or psychology. Its function is to maintain order, balance, and system integrity, which is also the layer that governs whether your system remains stable or collapses under pressure. Because this is the type of structure that enforces function. And your belief system at this point cannot override this type of regulation. When you're looking at the galactic layer, galactic family layer, now this is consciousness field. Or your pre-identity awareness. Consciousness that is not formed by cultural biology or stories. Which is also why it's important when it comes to utilizing the chakra models, because there's really people out here that are literally teaching something or expressing something that they have no business expressing when it comes to chakras, going from top down. That's not the way the shit works. You don't build the roof of a house first before you build the foundation, do you? You have to make sure that the vessel is solid and structural enough from the root to the solar plexus in order for there to be a connection to those higher chakras. Because anytime that essence is being taught from top down, now what's happening is, and I'm telling you, anyway. That's the type of energy that's still connected to indoctrination of indoctrinating the collective. That places one into a savior mode again, savior complex energy. Gratitude for the torch. Anybody that's teaching to have access to the crown and not with the understanding of the purpose of the root, that's a false prophet or a false teacher. And that is obviously someone or an energy that's still carrying wounds either from a mother, especially if the verbiage is more so coming out in the sense of disregarding one's feelings. Because we've already talked about this in regards to the process of the heart and the process of the brain. Having people move top down, you're giving the brain the work of the heart at that point. And that's not the proper functioning of the body. So let me look, see what the crone is talking about. What is that? That's 13. Beautiful 13. What we have? The witch, the old woman, the sage. The crone has seen it all. Nothing frightens or surprises her. She is the final manifestation in the feminine trifecta of maiden, mother, and crone. And you have that here first. The reality you must accept. Some of you are literally going through a quantum leap from the maiden to the crone. Finishing off what she started is what I heard. When it comes to the crone, in her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration, giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. Yes, triple goddess frequency. Did you hear that? In her long life, she's witnessed endless cycles of death, sex, failure, rebirth, conflict, and regeneration. Listen here. Giving her the ability to rise above the world of duality. That is 13. That is basically you having the awareness of all of the 12 salts or zodiac signs or seasons to step into 13, to really step into the heart as a 4. 1 and 3 bringing it to a 4. Rising above the dimension, the third dimension of duality into non-duality. Yo, this is wild. Because look at this next slide. How often do I say this shit? And laughing. She laughs at notions. The crone laughs at notions of good or bad, right or wrong, as she has seen the earth turning, smoldering, taking life and giving life. The crone energy accepts everything in, devouring beauty and suffering with the same mouth, using their energy to reveal hidden secrets and knowledge. Her energy resides in all of us. Though it is feared by most for its power and unconventional relationship with death and the macabre. Awakening the crone is dangerously rich and unapologetically magic. Once again, if you wasn't ready for this type of frequency, you wouldn't show up here. The crone is the master of letting go and residing in what is. She rejects nothing. The crone is often seen with the crow, smoke, night, and the moon. Release the old so that way you can connect to your magic, clairvoyance, psychic, intuitive, and wise ways, knowledge, and wisdom. To go deeper, we have Dumavati, Hecate, Baba Yaga, and Lilith. Let's grab a Lilith card. The crone has a difficult time tolerating superficial, petty, day-to-day musings. Yeah, I'm a big time crone over here. That type of shit. I just told y'all that shit too. She moves away from such relationships and seeks a deeper path, even if this means a more solitary life. Gladly. Literally here to basically let you all know on some, yo, don't worry about what people got to say. You better not, because it's only gonna fuck you up even more. It's so unnecessary to really be, you know what I'm saying, caring about what people got to say about your ways, and your ways is what you came here to do. Hey, that shit stops here right now. Capiche? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you agree, if it stops right now? If not, leave. Get skedaddle. Get gone. Bye. I gonna stop playing with this crone energy over here. And y'all better level up. Cause y'all can't. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't. You would not be here if you cannot change your life within the next fucking 2 minutes. I promise you that. Because one thing I know for sure, I don't attract or manifest weak people. If you show up in that energy, at first you won't be there for long. And if you choose to continue, you won't be here for long either. On this channel. It's your time to live a life of love, fortune, most of all, the amazing health to enjoy it all. Fuck all that other shit. Lilith, what's up? Lilith, what's up? What we doing? Lilith, what's up? What we doing? 144.44 on the timer. Look at that. First and foremost, she said yes. Dissolution, crone energy, yeah. We dissolving all of that. Ashe. What is? In Aries, ooh, lead your life. Boy. Oh, so we gonna go there first. Dang, okay, direct it, why don't you? Shit. Ooh. Blossom in abundance. We got Eve and Cibation, divine feminine awakening. Feminine, divine feminine. This is not gender as in female, okay? Definitely went through that emotional clear. Let's go. And we got Cibation, purify, cleanse, and release. 1439. All right, y'all, here we go. Eve. Receiving this card is a sign to awaken to your power. Eve tempted Adam to eat from the forbidden tree, which sparked their awareness of sexuality. Oh, wow. Good and evil, and initiated the fall of man. Their story could be interpreted as an allegory for human enlightenment, ascension, and a divine feminine connection to the spiritual realm. This is actually a great deck, by the way. Okay. For your crone evolution. Crone and druid. The druid is basically the energy of that. You would have, what is it? The hunter, the sage, the druid, the mother, the maiden, and the crone. This card indicates that you are growing into your power as a master creator. Eve is tempting you to tap into the knowledge within you and become the god or goddess of the earth that you are. The story of Adam and Eve is a famous tale about the rise and fall of humanity in the Old Testament book of Genesis. Old Testament, Old Test of the mind. New Testament, New Test of the mind. Eve was born from the from the rib of Adam, and God told him to eat from every tree in the Garden of Eden. The one caveat was that they were forbidden from eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil on penalty of death, penalty of transformation. And we know that's not a literal thing in terms of Eve was born from the rib of Adam, but we're not even going there because that's, yes, you know, we don't roll that way over here. Okay? And the way this text is written is just giving you the information before we. Anyway, on one day, Eve was tempted by a serpent. Serpent year was 2025. To bite from an apple from the forbidden tree. Some theologists speculate that this serpent was Lilith in disguise. Absolutely. The persuasive serpent said, "For God knows that on the day you eat thereof, your eyes shall be open. You can look at this as the higher self." You know what's another verse? I'm going to get to it right after that. Isaiah 55, but I'll get to that in just a minute. For God knows that on the day you eat thereof, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Eve obeyed the serpent, took a bite, and gave the apple to Adam to eat. They were both punished by God and expelled from the garden. Now, that the way someone reads it in a literal sense, the question that they should actually have is, who the fuck is that God that will punish you from stepping into your higher self? That's the real question. Mm? And why is this God a jealous God? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Of course, with Adam's first wife, Lilith, this creation tale blames and punishes Eve for the fall of man and the first original sin, thereby aligning the feminine with shame and evil. Eve was held up as an example by religious structures to keep women in line and subservient to men. This is a lower vibration of duality, basically. That level of indoctrination brought duality to a much lower frequency. So the Eve card showing up is asking you to step out of disempowerment and into who you are as a god or goddess of your reality. Gratitude, source, higher self, for connecting Isaiah 55 at this moment, as we're about to get to it here in just a bit. Let me make sure of it nearby. Let me go. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I have this up first. Okay, I have it. Now, the message here is do not be afraid of your power. Take the apple from the tree. You are awakening and becoming one with your higher self. Come through, Lilith. Making sure you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no what I do. Cibation, number 39, which speaks to what we have: purify, cleanse, and release. A bountiful freshwater stream. A bountiful freshwater stream feeding into the depths of a river, you are continuing to empower the gold of your sun as you move toward obtaining the philosopher's stone. That precise verbiage, philosopher's stone, if you have the sign of Libra at 29 degrees, that is the exact degree of this type of energy, which basically means that you have a very strong connection to Christ consciousness and you have a very strong ability to read parables. You're very enigmatic as fuck. Without this natural process, the large bodies of water on earth would completely dry up. When the cibation cards appears in an oracle reading, your inner transformation requires clean fuel to stay embodied in your light. In your light. Just when you feel you have moved on, difficult or painful memories of the past can appear during this part of the process. Now is the time to sit with these emotions and allow them to be released from your consciousness. Taking time to practice self care, physically crying, and displaying your anger are all powerful ways to work through this phase. While emotional displays can be frightening at times, this is what is necessary to stay on your path towards ascension. As the ascension, soul ascension card, coagulation is right before it, number 38. 15th century alchemist Sir George Ripley stated that cibation is called a feeding of our dry matter with milk and meat. In other words, cibation is the process of continuously feeding your alchemical vessel with pure material in order to continue embodying your light. Alchemy gets practical during this stage. This is where new habits, thought processes, and ways of being are implemented into your life. This is done by feeling negative emotions from past challenges and alchemizing them through release. Cibation phase shadow work message. Processing difficult memories is a powerful form of shadow work. This phase also can be completed with the help of tools such as talk therapy and energetic healing work such as Reiki, pranic healing, meditation, or breath work. Feed your newly formed soul with restorative healing. Release, reflect, and release the pain and shadows from the past. Come through, Lilith, with the confirmation, mamas. Release the old and rest. Now, this verse showed up a couple rotations ago. So this was the 18th. This showed up on the 18th, and I saw the way this guy was describing it. And I paused it immediately because it was more so towards the literal sense, which is not what the message is saying, but whatever. This is in regards to, which ties in perfectly with this. This is in regards to the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verses 8 through 9, that state the following: For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Now, right there, if you're someone who is on this channel and you are becoming much more acclimated with the embodiment of your higher self, you would already begin to click that for my thoughts are not your thoughts is basically your higher self telling you, the physical vessel. The higher self is saying my thoughts are not you, body, lower self thoughts. That's what that's talking about. Let's continue with the verse. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways. For as heaven is higher than earth, heaven just simply states the most heaved up or highest point of any dimension. Your body itself is one complete dimension. So the highest point of your body is what? Your head. Earth, which is also the essence of your heart, is the head that your body sits on, the head that sits on your body. So, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways. For as heaven is higher than the earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. We're going to make this grounded and practical, because this is not a mystical, distant type of statement. It's literally perspective differential type of statement. It's basically saying you are operating from a limited vantage, and there is a larger pattern in motion. So what this means in real terms, as we've already been explaining it, your mind calculates from current evidence, reacts to visible constraints, predicts from past experiences. A higher pattern, a connection to your higher self, does the following: sees long-term positioning, sees delayed consequences, sees connections you cannot yet measure. And the fact that the nudge was to bring this verse forward to you all, it's because some of you may still be trying, which is an insult to doing, to control the path using short-term logic. The difference between your thoughts and higher thoughts are the following. Your thoughts right now could be urgent, defensive, comparative, time-bound, but the higher pattern thinking of that is patient, strategic, non-linear, timeline aware. Non-linear and timeline aware is basically the essence of the sun being in Pisces, Mercury being in Pisces, Venus being in Pisces, North Node being in Pisces. It's literally the verbiage of thinking Mercury, non-linear, Pisces. Universal law is always in effect. The macro to the cosm, to the macrocosm to the microcosm is constantly moving. Now, this does not mean ignore logic. It means do not mistake your current view for the whole terrain. Once again, do not mistake what you're seeing currently for the whole terrain. In terms of the nervous system, when you're stressed, the brain tends to narrow your focus, and your threat detection increases. Now, this is when your imagination begins to shrink. And this is when you're going against the current of the actual non-linear support you're getting with Mercury and Pisces to connect even deeper to your imagination. So this is where some of you could be feeling a much stronger pull away from yourself that is actually unnecessary, because you're going against the current. When your nervous system is regulated poorly, this is when your thought patterns become extremely narrow. In order for you to evolve or elevate that process, that thought process, it's important to regulate your nervous system first. So to shift from short-term thinking to higher pattern thinking, the short-term thinking that it's time to release: how do I make money this week? How do I fix this immediately? How do I prove this works? That gotta go in the garbage. And switch to higher pattern thoughts. What system sustains 5 years? What structure compounds? What level must I become to hold this? Because the gap between earth and heaven here is reactive logic versus strategic architecture. Don't make decisions from your smallest views. Pause, regulate, zoom out. Then act from the wider frame. (7:07) on the time. And keep this in mind. You may write this down. I refuse to make permanent decisions from temporary perspective. I refuse to make permanent decisions from temporary perspective. I'm going to put it in the chat. This is how you this is a line to anchor in the energy. Ashe. Michelle says, I received. Pretty lady, you got me. I told you I got y'all. Listen, we good. There it goes. There it goes in the chat. Okay. Make sure y'all jot that down. With the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and North Node in Pisces, all in Pisces, this is a heavy pattern dissolving energy. Use it. Okay, this is a perfect example as well when it comes to being in a state of solitude and the statement of you may be physically alone, but you're never actually lonely or alone. Look at the type of cosmic energy that y'all under right now. Some of you may even desire to you know what I'm saying, work through this with someone. You got something bigger than someone. You got the literal cosmic energies working on your behalf to make sure this is actually fulfilled. When Mercury, thinking, Moon, emotional processing, the Sun, identity focus are here simultaneously, your normal linear thought weakens anyway. But you know what that gets misconstrued with? Confusion. Instead of the access that you actually have to the macro pattern of perception, or I dare say the how to things, because we say that generally, yeah, the how belongs to source. The who, what, when, where, why is yours. The how is source. But right now, you have just been given access to the macro pattern perception, or the how. Now you see the importance of the embodiment of your higher self here. You also have access to intuitive synthesis, long-term sensing, non-linear connections, which is exactly the terrain of Isaiah 55, 8-9, which is a higher vantage cognition. You cannot think higher while gripping tightly. The sky right now is literally removing that grip as we speak. All right. So now, let's look at the structure that will sustain you. What is the structure that will sustain the collective? Yes, I release and let go. The structure that will sustain the collective. This is the, ooh, I love when this one come out. See how mystical, but the mystical is becoming extremely practical right now. This is the structure that will sustain you, being the seer, seeing beyond the current situation, refusing to make permanent decisions from temporary perspectives. The same way you feel right now, that courage to move forward, that inspiration to do and do. Grasp onto that. Show me more. The structure that will sustain the collective. Listen, I love y'all with my heart and soul. I do this for that reason. Embrace the energy of peace. Okay. Wow. The structure that will sustain you is embracing the energy of peace, especially having the peace from past situation where the path didn't go as expected. See beyond those current situations. Seeing beyond those current situations is seeing what those situations have taught you. Gratitude. Look. Come here. Look at here. Look. Step out of your comfort zone. Told you I'm a love up on y'all. At the same time, may rough you up a bit. If I feel the energy, because that energy got to get up on off of here and out of here. Because who? Who? Just, my collector, you got me fucked up. Let me see. Let me see. Tell me more about this. Yo. What's this? Yeah, I'm telling you. Inappropriate. The rough up, never. Never. Not the way my ancestors and spirit guys. Y'all gonna get this work. Fuck that. Take it, get out the kitchen. Straight up. Fulfillment. Ooh, wee. Jupiter and Pisces right there. We got temptation, the fulfillment of wishes. Listen, y'all be talking to me. Y'all also talking to my ancestors. They do. All right. Clean it up. Right. Clean it up. The structure that will sustain you is releasing the grip from whatever this is that's been tempting you, that's coming across as a fulfillment. It's a false sense of fulfillment. False sense of fulfillment. Show me the archetype of this false sense of fulfillment. Show me the archetype of this false sense of fulfillment. If I should move and Yeah. Bringing balance to this, walking you through the door to spirit. You're gonna have to have some serious strength. What you think this is? You truly desire victory and to receive a gift for your doings that has to do with the lady enjoying growth and reaping rewards, happy family, connections, blossom in abundance of connections, many possibilities in alignment to passion ignited. You got your boy over here that said that too earlier. You're going to have to go through the transformation to step into your power. Let's do this. This is why the truth is being told. This is why with that masculine energy. This is why, because it's time to build here. Yeah. Spirits are watching now. I'm telling you. What we got? Look at, ooh. What? The archetype that will sustain you. And this is in reverse, eh? This is in reverse. Let me see. Ooh. Wee. The fire being born out of water. You're expecting fire to come from fire, but the fire is coming from water. This false sense of fulfillment is thinking that the vibration matches the exact element. Or where you're at, the environment that you're currently in, to keep working at it. What about this reflection here? Engaging in it. Engage is what I'm getting from engaging in something that they see as a reflection. Show me what's going on here. Some of you, it's your environment where you live. Let's see here. This also has to do, with you doing so much more for others than self and feeling guilty for it. Doing things you know you shouldn't be doing and then feeling guilty for it afterwards. Putting your spirituality aside. We got Egypt here. Could have been doing that since then. This is in reverse. What we have? Release this, this level of optimism when it comes to a significant partnership here. It's a cycle that must be closed. Whoa. And to be reconsidered. Yeah. And remain positive along the way. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. Segment. Okay. What is the action that aligns here for the collective rather than forces? The action that aligns rather than forces. The action that aligns rather than forces. Telling y'all, if y'all can't take the way the messages are being delivered, get the fuck up on out of here. I'm telling you. My spirit guys ain't feeling that. Let go of the need to be right. The action that aligns rather than force. Let go of the need to be right. What we got? Shapeshifter. The actions that align rather than force. Because the gate is about to open. Especially come the 21st. And moving from a bigger perspective rather than the limited mindset. The limited mindset for some of you has you waiting for a perfect moment or waiting to be, more so waiting to be ready. You're waiting for a false moment. The moment that you're ready is the moment you're taking action. You will only be as ready as you desire to be the moment you take action. Being ready actually comes after the action. P.S. P.S. what? Dream. Your dreams are going to show you more about your journey. Show me the, let me look at this. Let's go into our animal spirit guide. Oh, wow. Wow. Whew. Stop moving as a fire ant when you were a whole bee. Not necessarily that, no. Okay, what? Then what? What's behind the elephant? Stop creating obstacles for yourself. Oh, nah. The bee, earnest, hardworking, democratic. Well, the bee personality is a delight. That's a whole other thing. That's okay. Do what you do, but recognize that that game that they're playing with choosing sides is basically choosing either a right or left wing. How about you go for the whole bird? How about you all become the whole bird and govern thyself? I digress. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe and then sting. Yeah, I'm tired of your shit. When in balance, content, active, and vibrant. When out of balance, overworked or annoyed. To bring into balance, a mini vacation. Now, let's see what the fire ant talking about. The fire ants. Oh, that just reminded me of Tiana Taylor. Byron. Fire ant, aggression, rigid thinking, following orders. Fire ant energy flares up without us noticing. It's the force that attracts us to people and situations that feed our imbalances rather than those that counter them. Gossiping and blaming are a few indicators that misaligned fire ant energy is at play. Yes, don't want blaming people. Fuck that shit. Let them do what they gonna do. Live your life. Fire ants are surprisingly sensitive. Don't pretend the heat isn't getting to you. Exactly. Say what you have to say and move on. Straight up. Solo time, walks at night, brings the energy into balance. Okay? So, let's grab some angels. Whoa. Angels of assistance. Angels of assistance. Let's go. You got the druid that show up and the I love when they show up in the reading together. Magician, spiritual wisdom, and magic helps one gain wisdom and discover hidden secrets. You are most welcome, Michelle. You are most welcome, okay? You are most welcome. Angels, come on, baby. Come on, my love. Let's bring order and structure to this, yeah? Hariel, Nine of Swords, comforting you through mental loops of doubts and not feeling enough. Purification, protection from the impious religious sentiments. Mahasya, Four of Wands. Rectification helps one live in peace with everyone. What else? Sitael. Julia. Three of Wands, Five of Cups. Nine of Swords, Three of Wands, Five of Cups. Oh. Construction of the universe, help with great works, protection from adversaries, prosperity, destruction of the enemy, and deliverance from bondage. Yes, because with the Knight of Swords, Three of Wands, and Five of Cups, these angels are around here. These angles are bringing order and structure so that way you don't allow whatever this is that's coming towards you or whatever of the past that has arrived already, that has you in this energy of sorrow, pains, and regrets, while also in this state of suffering and silence. In regards to a particular partnership and alliance here. It's protecting you from something. If you're looking for something to come towards you, because you may not even be fully aware of how detrimental it is, this is why they're not coming through. Especially if you've been here this entire time or just showed up here right now. There's something about a connection that is being blocked from you. As if nothing will come up, the situation is what I just saw again. What I was guided, my eyes were guided towards here. Okay. All right, I'm being guided to come off the live now. I may return. I don't know. Not I don't know. Right now, I will see y'all mañana for the next live for our actual Saturn Neptune conjunction. Hey. Stay tuned for any the post that I may put up within the shorts. If something comes up, I feel as though something will come up that I'm going to post here within the shorts in regards to closing up the rest of that gap here for some of you. All right. I love you. Take care of yourself. Hydrate. Do you. Be the best of you. Embody that higher self. And I'll see you next time. If you're a member of the channel, you will have access to the replay. Ciao.